Good morning, Airchat. I'm sorry I spent some time away. I was trying to find a job, boost my income, kind of take away some of this pressure and this weight that hangs over me. I've lost confidence in myself. Irresponsibly, I'm tying my self-worth to my net worth. It's a dark, lonely trap. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do, or what I can do. It's terrifying. I am my own worst enemy. I'm doing this to myself. I can't stop smoking weed. I'm spiraling. I'd gotten my hopes up to go play some tournaments in Colorado in August. And I think I have to withdraw. I think I could probably make it work. But I would leave myself a greater mess than what it's worth. I'm not sure how to tame my ego. I don't even know if it's my ego that's the biggest hindrance, but this kind of idea that I can just snap my fingers and go do grandiose things. It cripples me. I tried doing content stuff, making more like long form kind of YouTube tailored videos, and that's not me. I don't enjoy the process. And I'm just trying to hop on the bandwagon, ride the hype. It's a sense of FOMO. I have this sense and this feeling that I'm just unwelcome. I feel like I'm unwelcome when I'm at the golf course. I feel like I'm unwelcome when I'm at work. Some people don't want me there. I feel like I'm unwelcome when I walk up the street. People look at me. I try and smile and say hi and just keep their head down, keep walking. And anytime it feels like I make a connection, I sabotage myself. I show that dark side. I get too crazy. I suffocate and kill the flame. I don't have any tournaments to look forward to. I don't have any work that inspires me or charges me up creatively. I'm wandering around like a lost puppy. The last few days I've been spending time outside this gallery, visualizing my work on the walls. For me, I get excited about the little things. Like this mug. I got this mug from a potter in Connecticut. He was blind. And in speaking with him, you could just tell how much passion there was in his work. And that inspires me. But some of us have intangible skills that don't translate into the working world. I spend my days being ordered around by incompetent men, slave to the clock, feeling like a second-class citizen.
Hey, Riley, I'm here for you. So that's number one. Number two is I've learned a lot listening to your air chats, watching your videos, getting to know you. And you're on a journey. And that journey is going to take you places that at times are painful. But there's one thing that I'm not okay with, is I'm not okay with you beating yourself up, because you're not alone. You're not an outsider. You're not an outcast. We appreciate you here. I personally appreciate you. I know Farbood appreciates you. I know Naval appreciates you. And we're here for you. So the world is a very big place. There's a lot of people here, but there are people that absolutely care about you. And to continually second guess and jab yourself in the face about what you did or didn't do is unfair, because this is something that we all have to reckon with at some point. And I don't want you to make it worse. I want you to make it better. And one of the ways to do that is to talk with people. I think you're attempting to do that right now. Second is take a long walk in nature, get some sunlight on your face, and breathe in that mountain air. And third is realize that this shall pass. My darkest days, you lay there in bed, you stare at the ceiling, you want to disappear, but there's a voice in the back of my head that says, tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will be better. And this is not a death sentence, how you feel right now. This shall pass. So we're with you, my friend, and stay strong.
Riley, I've gone through what you are going through so many times before, and I'm sorry, and it does get better, but of course, everyone always says that, but that's why all the songs go like that. That's why all the stories end like that, because it does get better. In the meantime, reach out, DM me anywhere, Twitter or whatever, and then, so regardless of life advice, just consider out loud maybe going to an urgent care or hospital and telling them how you feel. Because it's not all chemistry, nor is it not chemistry, nor is life easy, nor do tons of mistakes not happen that are just like tragically irreversible. And I don't know, man, we love you. So talk to someone about it. I can't talk to someone medical that's objective and isn't just kind of pulling for you and is going to say, I love the videos, because I do love the videos, but I don't know. Reframe some. Yeah. I'm sorry to say this out loud, but I love you. I've been trying to get into this thread, and reach out, DM.
Riley, you are your own best friend, my friend. You are not your own worst enemy. There are no enemies within you. The first step is to stop smoking weed. You're not going to be able to think clearly while you're doing drugs, and weed is a very powerful drug. Just because we've legalized it doesn't mean it's any less powerful, and it's messing with your mind and messing with your mood and messing with your emotions. Just seize control. Go back to being who you were. Be that bright, young, fresh kid. And that means you gotta drop the drugs, do whatever it takes. Meditate, go for long walks, do push-ups, do pull-ups, don't care. You're young, you're strong, you're smart, you're good looking. You have all the assets. So just drop the drugs and start thinking clearly. Unfortunately, it takes a while to get weed out of your system. That's why it shows up in drug tests so easily. It's going to take 6 weeks. Just don't touch that stuff for 6 weeks. It's utter effing poison.
And it is hear my voice. It is 100% not an accusation or a suspicion or anything like that. It's nothing to do with you, nothing to do with me. It's just really powerful stuff, and just consider it. And now consider, if it's not a big deal, like, why wouldn't you? You know? And it's not about you. It's just about, it's Bayesian, right? I've seen enough people have tough times, and it doesn't look like it on you, but God damn it, you never know. So, yeah, hospital, DM me, and it should be okay, man.
Hey Riley, sorry to hear what you've been going through. Believe it or not, I went through that. I go through these things once in a while. I also don't have a lot of confidence in myself sometimes. Sometimes I do, and I guess that's what makes us human. I'm here for you. I think a bunch of us are. And stay strong. It's the weirdest thing to say, but stay strong. Try to. And you are being strong right now. You're sharing your pain with us. I hope things get better for you soon. I really do. Please feel free to share whatever you want to share.
Riley, I just want you to hear this just person to person, sort of soul to soul. And I'm speaking from very direct experience here. You're clearly someone who's intelligent and feels a great deal, right? Marijuana is not, I would say, accurately portrayed in culture. And there's a great deal of misconceptions about the, I would say, the depths that the sort of psychoactive effects have on individuals, especially individuals who have a proclivity for thinking and feeling. And I cannot encourage you enough to find a period of sobriety away from the substance, so that you can just regain a sense of center and deal with the things that you're dealing with without that extra layer of complexity, without that influence. When I went through some pretty turbulent times in my life, the effects of a psychoactive drug like marijuana were a net negative in very profound and challenging ways. And while it might feel like crutches, it might feel like a crutch in some ways, I think it's more of a hindrance. Life is already very difficult to manage, and it's more so when we put on layers of complexity like drugs. So there's such a almost cultish culture around the consumption of marijuana that just heralds it as this miracle harmless drug. And I just wanted you to hear like a personal anecdote that myself and many others have had very, very negative impacts on our lives because of the influence of that drug. And so, again, I wish you all the absolute best, Riley.
I would agree with Naval. I went through a similar crisis 2 years ago. I went through a divorce and a heartbreak, and I lost all my money, everything. It was actually Naval who, in many ways, saved my life through the pursuit of truth and wisdom. I was heavily abusing drugs, and I was very depressed, even had a suicidal ideation. I went to see a therapist, but for me, what helped the most was the pursuit of knowledge and truth.
Hey Riley, I'm going to speak from experience, personal experience, and not because I want to talk about me per se. I've never really shared this with anybody, but in the hope that you might take something useful. In my very early 20s, probably 20, 21, I was taking a lot of drugs on a weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In fact, I thought I was just a weekend drug user, recreational user, until I realized that I was using 4 days out of 7. And I decided to quit one day. And I've always been always was very kind of digitally oriented, like I was either on or off. So when I decided to quit, I just quit. And that's when the problems started for me, because from a feeling of euphoria and thinking everything was great, all of a sudden everything turned to shit. And I was going through hell. I was anxious through the roof. I was fearful. I was seeing the world and people differently. And it scared me. And I didn't know what to do. So my mum actually found a local clinic where they had drug counsellors. And I went to speak to a counsellor, and he asked me what I'd been taking and etc., etc. And then he asked me to explain what was going on for me. And in the room, there was a little room, and in the room there was a whiteboard, a flip chart. And I saw the pen and the flip chart, so I got the pen and I drew a little stick man at the top of the flip chart in like a horizontal position. And then at the bottom of the sheet, I drew a line across the sheet. And I turned to the drug worker and I said to him, "That's me up here, and this is reality down here. And I need to get to reality because I can't deal with it where I am now. I don't know what to do." And the gift that seemed like a curse at the time was that simple explanation that I gave to that guy. He had no means of helping me get to reality. And I decided there and then that the only person really able to help me was me. And from that moment, I started looking and trying to find out what I could do to stop the spiral in one direction and turn things in another direction. And slowly but surely, I started to do things, and I started to get clearer and clearer thinking. And I started to calm down, started to reassess things. And over a period of time, things come good. And I had something there to reflect on that I knew I'd be able to help others in that position. But I also, it is something in terms of experience that I would never, ever give up for any amount of money, because it taught me so much about life, and it helped me so much in terms of trying to find out and discover things that were true about the world. And up there, where I was in the top corner and floating with my feet dangling, nothing to stand on, nothing concrete, was really helpful, because it taught me that reality is available, and it just takes a little bit of hard work, and it just takes some simple choices. And there's a fork in the road, and you can choose to do two things. You can continue to take the drugs and see where that leads, or you can stop and start to do things differently. And that's the first crucial opportunity to start to take a hold of things for you, for your interests, so that you can go in a direction that's different to the one that you've been heading. And although it might seem a mammoth task, the worse it is sometimes, the better opportunity you have to turn things around quickly. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that to make for a feel-good factor or anything like that. It's not about feelings. Feelings are barometers sometimes that can be way off, and we rely on them too much. The more you start to understand, the more you'll realize that. So I hope that's useful.
Hey, Riley. So since you shared your face with us, I'll share mine with you. First of all, I'm just going to say my heart goes out to you, man. Clearly, you've got a lot weighing on your soul right now. I'm going to suggest that one thing you might do to lighten that load a little bit is try to remove the word should from your vocabulary when referencing yourself. Maybe try to replace it with some sort of an aspirational word or phrase. So you said you don't know what you should do. You said, do you feel like you're wandering around like a lost puppy? Well, perhaps it's okay to feel lost right now. Perhaps you don't need to feel like you should have everything figured out. That's a long process. I don't think anybody has got it all figured out. So let's just start there. Let's talk about pot and mind-altering substances real quick. Those things have their place, but they definitely have some big pitfalls, and probably not something that you want to be indulging in right now. Any of those sensations that you're talking about not feeling like you belong, or that people don't want you around, or anything like that, whatever little small seed in your mind or your emotions that's coming from, I promise you, weed is growing that into a forest. So, yeah, dude, I'd cut that stuff out for a while.
I'm curious, Riley, about your intangible skills that you don't think will translate to some career. These are a few of mine. You can see that art is not one of my intangible skills. Photography is. So I was curious also about you looking at the gallery and wanting permission for somebody to hang your work on that wall. And while that might be an achievement, I think it's very easy now to bypass that gallery, to put your work here, to get your work out there. You don't need to ask for permission anymore. As far as working for the man, you can see in my little chart here, yeah, I've worked for the man. I've worked for a lot of the man, and it's very difficult. And sometimes the lesson in a job is the anti-lesson. I worked for people I never will be like working with other people. I've worked in jobs that were not ideal, but I learned the value of work, or I learned the value of customer service, or I learned some skill, medical coding, I learned writing, I learned research, whatever the skill was, I often didn't know it was going to serve me until it served me very, very later on. So I'm wondering if there are jobs out there that you don't know are going to serve you yet. And if you can relax and take any job where the people are excellent, and start with that. I wonder if that would be a good place for you to start. I'm not quite sure, but I also feel that you're talking about golf. It would be great to see you golfing. You're a talented golfer. I've seen you discussing golf in many conversations. So I'm hoping that will also be part of your future. I would love to see you start an art room here, and we would love, I think, to see your art. One other thing, if you're struggling to find your skills and talents, I remember a kid I was teaching, he was trying to team up with some other people for a project. And he said he didn't want to team up because he didn't have any skills and he didn't know anything. and he wouldn't really help anybody out in their projects. So I said, well, really, what can you do? I know you're a great artist, but he's like, oh, I can't do anything. All I can do is code and make websites. Yeah, every single person in that entire grade was fighting for that kid on their team. So sometimes you don't know what your skills are until somebody points them out. If you can't figure them out yourself, ask a friend, ask anybody in your life, what are the top things that you can do that they wish they could do? And I bet you they will come up with a bunch.
Riley, I am really moved right now. I'm moved by your authenticity and vulnerability as you share. What are you feeling and thinking in this moment? And I'm also moved by the outpour of support that you are receiving from our chat. And if you can hold this in true light, you will see that you're not alone. So first, let me reiterate that you are not alone here.